Hi there, Creative Tartanites. Thanks for joining me this evening. Today, or tonight, should I say? In fact, no, because for you guys, it probably is still today. It is nighttime for me. It's 8 o'clock, and I am going to be painting in acrylics this portrait of Danny Thomas. Now, Danny Thomas is the founder of St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, and if you don't already know, for the entire month of May, I have been running a campaign to try and raise funds. Now, I actually was coming on today to say I'd like to get to my $100 goal. However, I've actually passed it. Yay! So thank you so very much to... Hi there, Cinnamon. Thank you for joining me. And no, I did message, but I was too late in messaging because I got distracted with some family business. So this is a bit on the hop, I'm afraid. It's my life, basically. That's what happens. So anywho, as I was saying, I was doing this live with the purpose of saying, please help me get to my $100. But not only have I actually managed to get to it, I've actually surpassed it. So I am now sitting at, although it says on my donation that I'm sitting at 160, I am actually sitting at 280. No, 180, sorry, because I haven't actually put the $20 yet to the campaign that I have raised from selling the Art Sherpa portraits, and that is something I forgot to lift. Now, these are obviously the smaller size. These were testing, as you can see. I got it wrong on that side. So these are actually still available for sale in my Etsy shop, and I will put a link on for the sale of these. As I said, for every sale of the Art Sherpa prints, I will donate $10 to the campaign. Now, the full size, the A4 size, is the size that the print is. As I said, these are just the smaller sizes. So I've got that out of the way. Let me think, what else do I need to say? I've completely lost the plot now. I've completely forgotten what I was going to say. So how about I just say thank you very much for everybody that is in here. Hi, Cinnamon. Hi, Angela. And hello there, CR Creations. Hi, guys. I would very much appreciate it if people would share this broadcast. And now I'm getting a little bit flustered because I'm not as organised as I thought I was. Hi there, Stephanie. Thank you very much for joining us as well. And hello, Kathy. So I'm going to be doing an acrylic painting of this portrait. This was done in gouache. This was my warm-up this afternoon, so that I was feeling a little less intimidated about coming on today doing this live. I don't normally do portraits live, so it could go horribly wrong. Thank you very much, Stephanie. So what I thought I would do first and foremost is I thought it would be helpful if I showed you me setting up my palette. The reason for that is because a lot of people have asked me about the wet palette that I have used. So it would be helpful if I did that. And as I'm talking, I'm a little bit distracted because I'm getting, oh, that's clearly not going to allow me to do that. Okay, that's interesting. That's not going to let me do that. Okay. Right. I'm just going to have to do the smaller one. Right, okay, there we go. That is a link to my Etsy shop for the Art Sherpa prints, if anybody's interested. Now, it won't be this size, it will be the full size of this. This is just testers. So I'm just going to move some things out of the way. And I'm going to pull the camera down just a little bit so that you can see what I am doing. You can, if you look down in the corner here, you can actually just see the photograph that I used as reference for the Art Sherpa unicorn painting. So I'm just going to show you what I've done so far. So this is the sketch that I have done. This was free-handed, and then with the sketch, rather than wasting the paper, I've done sketch on here, and then I have transferred that image onto the paper that I am going to use. Hi there, Mark. Thank you very much. I'm so glad that you loved my gouache portrait. And hello, Art by Esther. Hi there. Okay. CRC, you're Cindy. Hi there, Cindy. Thank you very much for loving my ATCs. I really enjoy painting them. So this is the process that I'm just explaining. I'll just pop this out of the way. What I will eventually do is I will be taking the camera from off here, and I will be putting it so that it is actually over here. Unless, now, oops, if I was to do that, can people see well enough? So this is the size of it. There seems to be a bit of glare. Yeah, there's quite a lot of glare. But I can do it like this, or I can take the camera off of here and actually sit it on, so it's actually facing this, which is what I've actually got it set up to do. So you guys tell me what you think is going to be best for you. So I'll pop this out of the way as well. Oh, thank you, Cinnamon. Cinnamon's saying that I'm rocking it. I feel all fingers and thumbs right now. I had it all in my head what I was going to do and how I was going to do it. But as you can see, it's not quite going according to plan. But then I guess that's life, really, isn't it? That is so life. Now, I had my, oh, here we are. I've got 2 spray bottles, and the reason I've got 2 is because sometimes I have to go and fill up again when I'm spraying the water. So basically, I have, this is, you can see it's been used before, but I use it again. I don't see the point in throwing it out. I use it a number of times. Sometimes I will add just a little bit extra kitchen roll. We call it kitchen roll. I believe you call it paper towels. And I simply spray the water into the tray. Sometimes if I'm in a hurry, I will just pour it in, but this gives it a much more even spread of the water. And my fingers usually get a little bit sore after one, so I change it round. So how is everybody today? Right, okay, so there we go. That's probably wet enough. And the paper towel is obviously going to keep the water. And then, oh, we're going out of focus and we're back in again. This is baking powder, baking parchment even, baking paper. Greaseproof paper. Get it out of any supermarket here in the UK. Obviously this is Sainsbury's, but there are lots of different supermarkets available. It just so happens that Sainsbury's is the closest one to me. And then I have these clips and I just clip on either side and that gives me my palette. What that does is it allows the moisture to come through the parchment paper, so but without soaking through, so therefore it doesn't interfere with the paints. Now I do have golden. I used to use System 3, but I upgraded to the golden quite recently. As you can see, the paints aren't used particularly much. I did like using the System 3. These are specifically heavy-bodied, this one, but my other ones, as you can see, they're not heavy-bodied. They were soft-bodied, and I really wanted to upgrade to better paints because these, as good as they are, I did actually buy these probably a good 15 years ago and started using them. They'd never been opened, and I started using them, and I'm not sure if they were a bit off because they were 15 years old and hadn't been opened, or if it was just simply because I'd started getting used to them and I really wanted to try the golden. And once I've tried the golden, yeah, I kind of got converted to the heavy-bodied paints. So I'm rambling now. I really should be getting on with this, shouldn't I? Sometimes I'll give the upper layer a little bit of a spray before putting them out. Now, I'm probably going to use quinacridone magenta, burnt umber, titanium white, probably put a little bit of red out, and I will definitely put out some of the Hansa yellow. Might even do a little bit of the burnt sienna. That gives it a kind of a slightly redder tone to the skin tone. But I don't know, because a lot of the reference photos of Danny Thomas are in black and white, so I'm winging it, essentially, the colour of his skin tone. Right, let's get these paints out. So I'm not going, I don't tend to put out an awful lot of paints. It's only a small painting that I'm doing, so it shouldn't require too much, and I can always top up if I need to. See a little bit of burnt umber. I will probably put a little bit of blue out later, but not until later, because the darkness of his hair, I will do a little bit of blue into the burnt umber, which will give a really good black without it actually being black. Let me just see who's all come in so that I don't miss anybody. So Angela, Esther, we've got Mark, got Mona. Hi Mona, hello there. And was it Cynthia? Is it Cynthia? No, Cindy. Sorry, Cindy. So if I've missed out anybody, my apologies. I will try and keep up with chat. This is live to raise funds for St. Jude. There's no pressure to donate, but if you can, that would be absolutely fantastic. So we've got quinacridone magenta, yellow, burnt umber. I'm going to put out lots of white and a small amount of the red. Right, okay, so here we have the colours that I'm going to use. It's a very limited palette, but that's okay because there's loads that I can do with that palette. Hi Cats, hi Deb, and hi, who's from Texas? Deb's from Texas. Hi Deb. Hello from Scotland. Right, now I asked you guys earlier on, so I'm going to ask you again. Would you prefer if I just turned the monitor so the camera is so it's a wider angle, or would you like a little bit closer up? I will turn it around a little bit so that you can kind of see. So I can do it like that. Just makes it a little bit more awkward and you'll see me in the frame more. Thank you, Cats. Yes, I was absolutely thrilled to bits. I could not believe it. It was a lady called Madonna F. She donated $100. I was just, I have to confess, I got quite emotional actually, because that was just awesome that she did that. So what would you guys prefer? The wider angle, or would you like me to set up the camera so that it is focused on the thing? If I do it the wider, it means that you'll be able to see. Oh no, you won't be able to see. Yes, you can see. You can see the palette. That would allow you to see the palette. So it's entirely up to you. I can start off like this. In fact, shall I show you the other angle? I will show you the other angle and you can make your mind up what you would like to do. It doesn't make any difference to me, Mona. I would much rather that you guys saw, but I'll show you the angle that I can get. Sorry if you're going to get dizzy. My apologies. Now, okay. There. That's the close-up. So Patricia says, hi from Anderson, Indiana. In fact, I'm probably rude to that mic now, so I better tone down my voice a little bit. Lady Fair says, I like this angle. Okay. So shall we go with this one then? Yes, I loved the abstract as well. That was just absolutely awesome. Now, normally I would tape this, but I'm actually thinking I might just not bother today. Okay, so right. I'm going to use the Art Sherpa Cat's Tongue number 4, and I will probably end up using this for the full painting, to be fair. It's just a shame that you couldn't see the palette. That's the only thing. Because I think it would be helpful unless, oh, there. It's not ideal, but it's a little bit better. Now, in terms of lighting, guys, how's the lighting? Because I do have a few lights that I can switch on there. Is that better? Right, so, oh, kicking things over here. Right, I think we're set up now. Of course we're having fun. I am chuffed. Yes, I love these brushes. You can see that this is a new one, right? And this is one that's been used. You can tell it's been used. I love the brushes. Took me a little while to get used to them because I'm more used to the filbert and with the kind of rounder. So when I was doing edging and I was doing that, then I knew where the bristles were going. Whereas with this one, there's only a point, so there isn't quite as much surface area that direction that was getting covered. However, if I was to kind of sort of move it about, then I was able to get it a little bit better. It was really just about, you know, changing slightly the way that I used the brushes. And now that I'm used to it, I don't tend to use any other brushes. I've got a few paintings on the go that are actually the Art Sherpa brushes. That haven't actually been finished yet, but that's okay. Right. Oops. Okay, that's a bit too pink. I may end up getting the blue out as well, but we'll see. Okay. So let's get started. So So I'm going to start with the darker around about the, whoops, around about the edges. And if I go quiet, it's because I'm concentrating. I'm not very good at talking and doing this at the same time. Okay, so I'm going to darken that just a little bit more because it's a lot darker in here. But one of the things that I need to watch out for, and I do have a tendency to do this, is I tend to do people too dark to begin with. And then I end up going over it. But you know, it's fine because this is acrylics and this is what you can actually do. So did you guys ever actually see my live on my Facebook page? Because I've actually, now that I've reached over the $100, that means I'm going to have to go out in public and wear my Jedi costume. How fun is that going to be? I will probably go to do my shopping unless anybody's got any suggestions. Oh, a moderator, yes. Any volunteers? Any volunteers? Who would like to be a moderator? Okay, so how do I do it? Oh, hang on, I think I know how. Add moderator. Yay! Thank you, Mona. You're a star. Thank you, Esther. I'm really, really chuffed to bits. I'm just so thrilled. There is still free shipping on the Art Sherpa prints. That's not going to last. It will stop by the end of May. So at the moment it's free shipping. And I have sold so far 2 prints. So that's pretty awesome. It's funny because I'm not normally this careful when I first start out, but because I've drawn in a sketch, I'm actually being a bit more careful. Maybe I shouldn't, but it's fine. So, okay. Just making sure that I've got what I want where I want it. Would you believe my hands are actually shaking? That's so not like me. My hands are actually shaking. I hope I'm not too loud being this close to for those who are just joining us, this is who I'm painting. This is my warm-up with gouache that I did. Oh, just you can see how much of a straight line you can get with these and how detailed you can get. Like you can see how fine that line is, even though my hands are shaking. It must be the angle I'm actually at that, because I'm not usually this shaky when I paint. Or maybe it's the fact that I'm live. That's probably more to the point. Probably because I'm actually live. Right. Oh, yeah. I've just toned it down a little bit to be able to sculpt his face. As I said, it's really strange that I'm shaking so much. Hi there, Christine. Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Right. So he's actually got a bit of a thingy in his nose, a bump. Right, I'm just changing it to a little bit more kind of orangey red rather than a kind of sort of warmy colour. See if that. Yeah, still a bit. It's a little bit better. A bit lighter. Right. I don't really have any set way that I do this. I can kind of sort of jump all over the place, if I'm honest. And it doesn't really start coming together until towards the end. I'm getting the right tones and things on the nose helps to make it look 3D. And I probably should just be putting the colour down, if I'm totally honest, instead of faffing about with it. Right. Oops. because his skin tone isn't as red as it is at the edge here. And you can see that the hatching that you're seeing, that's because there is a texture in the paper. Okay. There we go. So just getting the colour down on the paper. And I kind of wiggle it a little bit just to get the colour into the texture. Of course, now I've got cinnamon in my head going wiggle, 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 but never mind. How are we doing, guys? Mona says, relax, Tanya, it's only us. Thank you. Do you know, it's funny because, you know, in reality, I'm a very competent portrait painter. However, somehow I've turned into this snivelling wreck because I'm live on YouTube. I mean, what's that all about? Normally I'm like, you know, singing and dancing and all sorts, because that's what I do. Even when I'm painting. And interestingly, the gouache painting that I did earlier on today, it took me probably around about an hour and a half. I suspect that this is going to take me a lot longer. But that's okay. That is perfectly okay. It's probably good that you see the palette, because you'll see how much faffing about I even do on the palette. And I think that's the key to getting a really good sort of 3D effect, so it actually looks like that, you know, the person is a real person and not just flat, is getting all the different tonal values. And you can get that by mixing as you go. Pardon me. And I am a bit sparing with my paint as well, as you can probably see. Which probably isn't necessarily that helpful. And you'll find that this is a slightly different warmth again. But that is how I roll. There's no, whoops, there's no real rhyme or reason to how I paint. I couldn't put down the instructions because I paint all over the place. But for me, I don't mind that. because that's just the way I paint. I've always been like that, even when I was at school. My teachers at the high school when I was doing art used to come round and sort of try and convince me to do it their way, and then I end up kidding on them doing it their way, and they would go away and they would come back and go, oh yeah, that's better. But what they didn't know is that I didn't do it their way. I just kept going the way I was going, and I got there in the end, which for me kind of just proves that, you know, it is about the end result for, you know, your teachers. They don't really seem to, well, not every teacher. I'm sure there are lots of teachers that aren't like that, but I found that, you know, they didn't question how I got there. All they were fussed about was the fact that I got there in the first place. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm a big advocate for people doing it their way. How are we all doing? Hi, Nikki. Hi. Thanks for joining me. Mona says live on YouTube is scary. Yes, it is. It absolutely is. Oh, Kat says, then you should sing. You have a lovely voice. Oh, thank you, Kat. I just don't know which ones won't be end up getting me a copyright strike. That's the only thing. I haven't looked into that yet. Okay, well we've almost got the entire face covered. Almost. The only problem is it's probably a little bit too dark, but that's what always happens when I paint. I kind of tend to go too dark first, and then I light it up. It may not necessarily be what people consider the right way, but it's not the wrong way either. It just so happens that that's my way. And it's interesting actually, because this afternoon I spent some time doing the gouache painting. So I suspect that I'm probably painting as if I'm still painting with a gouache. Because even with the gouache, I was finding that I could, you know, still reactivate the paint on the page and, you know, make a different. Oh, whoops. Oh, no, I haven't. I thought I'd just put my arm in the paint. Yeah, with the gouache, I found that I could still activate the paint even when it had dried. So that was kind of cool. In fact, that was very cool. Okay. There we go. We're getting there. We're getting there. As I say, I think it's still a little bit dark, but I can work with it. It's fine. This is the thing I find frustrating about acrylics, particularly working on the textured paper, is that it can be really difficult to get a straight line without the brush skipping because it's got a texture on it. But do you know, that's what happens. Right. Okay. Let's lighten this up a bit. That's a bit better. Okay. There we go. Still white bits on the paper. I'll have to make sure that I get them. Bum, 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 bum. Okay. I'm really just making sure that the white bits in the paper are kind of getting taken care of. Right, there we go. Oops. There we are. It's getting there. So, any questions? Nikki says it must be very weird and seem like you're talking to yourself. Yes, it does feel like I'm talking to myself, but do you know what? I actually do that anyway. I do that anyway. So it's not really news. It's nothing new. I kind of talk to myself anyway. Okay, so these bits in here are going to be slightly darker because this is obviously the side of the face. So if you think on the face as having different sides, so it's not obviously not flat. So you're essentially, this bit is going to be a different shade. This bit here is going to be a different shade. So it's this, because you could actually indicate it with strokes. So you've got this side, and then you've got the roundness here, and then you've got this side of the face, and then you've got this bit here as well. I know I'm probably not articulating that particularly well, but basically the planes. If you think about a square box, you know, you've got straight edges, so you can actually start off with straight brush strokes. There is absolutely nothing wrong with starting off with straight brush strokes. And as I keep going, I sort of reinforce some of the darker areas that I need to, but try and keep the edges that I need to sharp. So like his chin is going to be quite a sharp edge, and it is going to be slightly darker towards the bottom, because that's where it's going to curve under, and it's going to be lighter at the top of the hill, so to speak. So we're kind of getting there. I still think he's still a little bit too dark, but you know, you can see where the face is starting to take shape. You can see where the cheek is rounded here, and the reason that there's this darker bit here is because this is where he's smiling. So technically, if you had his dimple is right here, and the way that the photograph was taken, you're not seeing it as dominantly on this side. It is there, and I will put it in, but it's not as dominant. So that's why. Angela says, "I'm sorry I have to go. We'll catch you on the replay. Thanks for sharing, Tanya. You're put my teeth back in. Most welcome, Angela. And when you get to this point in the replay, yay! Thanks, Angela." Mona says, "I understand what you mean." Oh, I'm glad somebody does. Thank you. Okay, so any questions? Any questions so far? Just covering. It's not the right color for here, but I'm just putting it on so that it's the whites covered. And this is actually his eyebrow, but I'm just going to take away the starkness of the white by adding that there. It just creates one more layer. And I'll just continue to do that down here, because although that's quite light, it will actually darken as it dries, and it will help me to lighten up the overall tone of his skin. So it's starting to get there. I think we can all agree that he's looking quite 3D, and he's starting to stand out from the paper. So I'm going to start working a little bit on the other side of his cheek. So I'm going to make up some more of a slightly darker shade, and kind of come in here a little bit. And then I will go in with the lighter shade again to kind of blend it. So while it's still wet, I will put a little bit of the darker colour in here as well. And you can still see that really, really dark colour that I put on earlier on, but it's not as kind of, you know, in your face straight line, and it becomes more of a shadow, which is exactly what I wanted it to become. because this is where his nose kind of has that creak in it. Bend. So again, just doing the edging just because it's on my brush, for no other reason other than that colour is on my brush, so I'm going to add it on. Right, okay, so right. Try not to be too precious with it, because I was kind of hoping to go for the painterly look rather than anything else. So I'm getting really loads of white on here because he's actually quite light here, because that's where the light is hitting off his face. And there's also some really light bit here. As I said, I'm really winging it because I have no idea what colour his skin actually is. What I think I might do is I'm going to add some, I don't have ultramarine blue in the golden, so I'm going to use some Galleria, and I'm going to just allow the face to dry and do some of his jacket. So I've just put a small amount of the blue out. That's probably far too much if I'm totally honest. But that's okay. And I'm going to make a really dark colour and then add some white. And then I've got my grey, because grey suits were all the rage. So just going to add the colour as has happened the last time. You can see the texture of the paper coming through. So it's really like working on canvas, really. So much so that maybe on hindsight, I probably should have gessoed it. That might have helped a little bit. Oops. There we go. So there we go. Just getting the colour on at the minute. I'm not really that fussed about it. I can always neaten it up later. And I think sometimes it's nice to just have the brush strokes. So there's going to be a shadow just in here. So that's why I darkened up that grey a bit. And I'll add some more white again. And just fill in the white spaces. So there you can see it's a bit challenging working with textured paper, but it's not impossible. There we go. And this is only the first layer. I can always add more on if I need to. Okay, so I think we can agree that it's together. Sorry, I got distracted. I'm reading. I can't read and talk at the same time. Just catching up with the chat. Nikki says, I love how the underpainting helps to make the cheekbones. Thank you. And it looks like Fancy Nancy. Oh, hi, Nancy. Hello. Is agreeing. Nikki's saying that it's not something that she would have thought about. Oh, thank you, Nikki. Do you like it my way, do you? I did it my... No, sorry. Oh, hey, Thorny. Hiya. It's a practice in patience for Thorny, apparently. Yes. So Mona's asking, what kind of paper was that again? It is Daler Rowney acrylic paper. So it has the don't know if the camera's picking that up well enough, but it has the canvas-like texture on it. Madonna Friedman, hi there. Thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for such an enthusiastic, positive comment. I really appreciate that. So enough chatting. I better get back to painting. Otherwise, I could be here all night, and I'm sure you guys don't have all night. And I really would like to just say thank you so very much, everybody, for taking time out of your life to come and hang out with me. It really, it's amazing. So thank you. Although it's interesting that the more I try to speed this up, the more I end up taking longer to do it. So I'm really going to have to watch what I'm doing and just get on with it. But for those who have just joined me, this is who I am painting. It is, in fact, I should probably stop talking about the painting and talk a little bit about St. Jude, shouldn't I? Because after all, that's what this live session is for. Now, St. Jude is a children's hospital. It's a children's research hospital in the States. And currently there is a bunch of people called the DERP Squad. And Cinnamon is one of them. I believe Stephanie, who is put my teeth back in, deliberately creative, as well as Mark, her husband. June, I can never remember Mark's channel. MWS, is it? Arts. I have it somewhere. I just can never remember. Perhaps Mona, you can help. MWB Art. That's it. Thank you, Mona. He's also helping to raise funds. He's also part of the DERP Squad. Now, my understanding is that the DERP Squad started off as gamers, and they asked Cinnamon last year if she would join them. And so, of course, big-hearted person that Cinnamon is, she did. And so, as a result, she did some pretty awesome paintings and things last year, and asked myself and obviously her other arty friends if they would participate as well to raise funds and awareness. And of course, last year I donated because I wanted to help out. But this year I thought it would be fun to actually help raise awareness. Now, I know I'm in Scotland, and there are probably lots of, Scottish or British charities that could do with some help. However, the really cool thing about St. Jude is that it is the only hospital that I'm aware of that does these things. If you don't mind, I'm going to turn this round so that I can get into this a little bit easier. And over the years, they have reduced the death of cancer in children. They have pioneered a variety of different treatments. I can't tell you off the top of my head what they all are, but I do know that they have developed many different treatments over the years. And at the moment, for brain tumours, there is treatment in other hospitals, but St. Jude's is the only hospital that actually can give the treatment with another type of treatment that actually stops the damage of the rest of the brain cells. Now, I'm not up on the ins and outs of exactly how it works, but all I know is that when children have this particular brain tumour, the treatment does what is called splashback. So not only does it kill the tumour, but it splashes back and damages the brain cells in the other parts of the brain, which is obviously not good because it just ends up there we go. It just ends up with the child not being able to do things. It affects, things like speech, etc., etc. So to be able to give this treatment without the splashback, which allows the children to actually have a life again after the treatment, I just think is so cool. And my understanding as well is that not only do they give the treatment without actually charging people, but if there is a disease that is really difficult to treat and people don't have the money, I think that there are actually ways in which they can help you to actually get the money to go to St. Jude's. That's certainly my understanding of it anyway. And I just think that is absolutely fantastic. Oh my goodness. Yay! So does that mean I have to go out twice in my Jedi costume? Oh, wow. That is absolutely awesome, you guys. Thank you so, so much. I'm going to shut up now because I'm getting a little emotional. Oh, wow. Thank you, Frisky. Oh, wow. Okay. So, moving on. Where was I? Yes. St. Jude's is an awesome, awesome organisation, hospital. They are still carrying out research. They are still helping the children. And, you know, how awesome is that? It really, I can't think of a better way to help, really. Okay, I'm just putting a little bit yellow in. Oh, that's a bit too much. That's a bit better. Oh, no, it's not. It's still a bit too much, but that's okay. I'll allow it to dry and then I'll go over it, because there's certain areas of our faces that have cool tones and warm tones. And up on the forehead is an area that is more likely to have a cool tone. So, and then I'm warming it up for the other areas. Okay. So I'm now attempting to lighten the full face, because his face really is very, very dark. Okay. And as you can see, even though I've put that really light colour on, there's still that dark area shining through. So allowing for the cheek to still be a cheek. Okay. I'm going to go back to the jacket now. I'll let the face dry a little bit and see how we're doing tonal value wise. Oops, that's not where I wanted to go in. Okay. Frisky's just said, okay, that has to be the best $20 I've ever spent. Thank you. Christine says, aha, no costume necessary. Well, just to explain, Christine, I did a live way back when I started my campaign that said, in fact, it was May the 4th, because obviously May the 4th is Star Wars Day. And I went live with my Jedi costume on because I love Star Wars, and said, if you get me to $100, I will go out in public with my Jedi costume on. So needless to say, I've obviously got my I know I said I was going to do the, see, this is what happens. I was going to go and do the jacket, and I've ended up coming back in and doing more to the face. This is exactly how I work. It's a little unorthodox. It is probably not considered to be traditional, but tough, essentially, because it's the way I work. All right. Okay. Right, there we go. That's that. Right, I'll go back onto the jacket, I think. So a little bit of blue, a little bit of burnt umber, that gives a dark colour, and a little bit of white then gives the grey. And again, because that really dark line is there, even if I go over it, it really isn't going to make an awful lot of difference because it should still shine through. And I'm going to be going a little bit more loose with the jacket and be a little tighter with the face. So again, a little bit of blue, a little bit of burnt umber, and some white. And here we go. Now I suspect that I'm probably not going to be able to get a completely finished painting this evening, but we'll see how we go, because I'm sure you guys all have lives and places that you could probably be rather than watching paint dry. Oh, hi, Mark. Okay. Right, I've obviously missed part of that conversation because Mark's now talking about, but tickets to Scotland are around $1,000 to get there to see her in person in her costume. Okay, Frisky's saying that there were many people in costume at the opening day of the Last Jedi movie. Yes, I would imagine there would be. It's a very popular film, to say the least. So a little bit of that, a little bit of this, and a little bit of white. I'm going to turn this round just so that I can get this edge, because otherwise it's going to bug the living daylights out of me. There we go. There we are. Right, we're getting there. We are getting there. Okay, so now one of the things that I would say to beginner portrait artists is don't try portraits with teeth until you're comfortable with what you're doing. They are very tricky little critters, shall we say, and it is very difficult to actually get them looking like they are in the mouth rather than just stuck on the paper. Now, one of the best ways to make the teeth look like they're actually in the mouth is probably to actually put in the teeth first before then going around the mouth. But when you put the teeth in, remember that the teeth are not white. Okay. Yes, there are lots of people who whiten their teeth and they probably look very, very white. However, they're still not white because they're in the mouth, which means that there's going to be shadow. The light is not going to get to them as much. And so therefore they are really not going to be white. So what I tend to do is I will actually use some of the flesh colour that I've actually made up, and I will, in fact that's probably still a bit too light. Okay, try that. So, because I can always lighten it again. And then the other thing that I did with the other painting, which is this one, is that I then put in this dark part as well. So I'm going to use a little bit of the blue and the burnt umber again. That's going to give me a really dark, and I'm going to add that in there and up here, because that's where it's really dark. In fact, it's really, I'll maybe do a little bit of red, because this is the tricky part. This is actually the lip. He's got a very thin lip that you can't really see. So I'm just going to add that in. And I'm also going to go over the dark part, because although it's dark, it's not quite as black. I'm just going to have a quick look at the reference photo. Well, I say reference photo, I'm looking at the looking at my other painting. Okay, so I'm going to do the dark along the edge of the lip here, because that's where there would be shadow. So right. As you can see, it's still not really looking like there's teeth there, but that's because there's not the lines that you can see. If you you can just see through the paint where I've drawn them. But if you have a close look here, you can see that there's ever so slightly lighter lines in there, but it's still dark, but it's not as dark as the mouth. But you can see that that's what separates the teeth, and that's what makes it look like they're in the mouth, because they are shadowed and they're not pure white. Okay, so I may have to change my brush to a finer detail brush, because I think this one's, I might get away with it, but I suspect not. So I'm just going to try and do that darker colour again, but not as dark, and see if I can maybe not, I don't know. It's getting there. We're maybe just a little bit too fleshy, so I'll maybe put a little bit of white into that kind of grey colour, and maybe do that. Maybe again, still maybe just a bit too, let's see. It's kind of, I think probably what it is the lip is probably a bit too dark at the top part. So I'll maybe look at reddening it. So I'll maybe try this. That's, do you know, I think maybe what it is that's putting me off is that this is still white. So I'm going to put in the lower lip. Like so. And then see if we can, I'm just going to cover that white bit with the colour that I've got on my brush, and then go back over it again. So again, I think I'm probably going to have to do a slightly different mix of skin tone. In fact, I may try the other red instead. So that's more. There we go. That might be a bit better. that might be a bit better. There we go, that's better. Because I think we need to get this skin tone lighter. And I think it's a little bit too much white on top of the other, and it's losing its sort of skin tone. It's kind of looking more kind of chalky white rather than actually a lighter skin tone, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to, that's much better. That's much, much, much better. So there we go. Okay. Let's see. This is probably a bit too pink, but I want to get that lip looking a bit more like a lip. It's a bit too pale, I think. And that's probably looking a bit too... Right. I'll leave it alone. Right, okay, I'm going to catch up with chat. Mark says he's got to go to work. We'll have a fantastic day at work. Thank you for the time that you have spent with me. It's really appreciated. Thank you. Thorny's saying, I'm tired of the storms. They mess with my entertainment and learning. Oh dear, that's not good, Thorny. Not good at all. And saying, woohoo, made it to the examination room. Now wait again. Yeah, anytime I go for any hospital appointments, they weigh me too. So it's obviously there must be a reason behind it. Right, so where was I? Here. So I seem to be getting a bit closer to how I actually want it to look. Still need to work on the lip colour. This line at the lip looks a bit too like it's drawn on, but that can happen sometimes with acrylics. But you just have to keep working at it until it changes. So from here, I am going to go on to the ear because, as I said, I'm now wanting to just get this finished rather than perfect. So I'm just going to put in colour first. Then I'll work on the shadowing of it because the shadow comes down here, and then there is his earlobe is a lot lighter, and there's a section up here that is a lot lighter as well. And then there's a bit that is incredibly dark. It goes up that way. There we go. That's kind of sort of almost an ear. It's a little too straight, that, so let's see if we can change that. Oh dear, dear, dear. Right, there we go. That's maybe. This is where I start to spit the dummy out. It's not playing ball with me. So where are we at? Oh, okay. So somebody's worried about flooding. Oh, that's not so good. It's Cindy, isn't it? CR Creations. That's not good if you're getting lots of rain and you're worried about flooding. Apparently somebody likes to mess with your head. I've obviously missed that part of the conversation. Mona's saying the weather is weird. We have had sunny and warm weather for a whole month. We really need some rain. Do you know, we had here this morning, Mona, and it was lovely. But the rain is now gone, so it's been lovely and warm for the rest of the afternoon. Frisky says, yep, can still fit into the socks wore in high school. Yeah. Do you know, actually, I can't, Frisky. I've my feet are bigger now as an adult than they were. The reason why it did happen is because I never used to have flat feet. I used to have, over the years, my feet, I have actually lost the arches in my my feet. So my feet are actually now a good sort of half size bigger than they were. So piece of useless information for you. Right, and Mona says, you tried to do a rain dance, did you, Mona? Okay. Well, if you want, I'll wish some rain for you. Let's see if we can't get you some rain, and let's see if we can get this painting finished. I'm surprised you guys aren't bored already. Actually, I'm going to. No, I'm not. I am going to use that. It's a grey, but I'm just going to use it anyway as the first base layer of the hair. I'm now just going to attempt to get this painting finished rather than making it perfect. See, this is why I do time lapses, because it can take me forever and a day to get a painting finished. Which is fine until I have to do it live. Because when I'm on my own, it's absolutely fine. I've got all the time in the world when I'm on my own. Right. Okay. I'm going to turn this round if you don't mind. Frisky says, no, not sure it could fit in the fit in the shoes, but certainly the socks. Yeah, that's true. The socks do have a little bit of elasticity, don't they? Okay. Let's get this colour in. And it would probably help if I actually mixed more colour as well, rather than having to keep making more and more. But again, this is just a technique that I've developed over, well, I say over the years. Technically, it's not been over it's been over the last 4 years. Because although I studied art at school, it was when I was at high school, and when I was about 18, I stopped painting. I wanted to go to art school, but I didn't in the end, because I was not encouraged to, and some of the things that got said to me kind of resulted in my confidence being knocked, and I thought that what they were trying to tell me was I wasn't good enough. So completely chickened out and didn't go. And I didn't get back into painting until about 4 years ago. When I discovered art journaling first. Because art journaling, you don't have to paint, you don't have to draw, you can use I'm just moving the area because I've rubbed and rubbed at this so much that it's starting to destroy the paper, because I'm obviously not using, well, not obviously, because not obvious to everybody that's here, but those who were with me at the beginning and saw how I actually set up this palette will know that I use baking paper, baking parchment. And so it's not a proper art supply, therefore, I see paper starting to curl, look. I maybe should have taped it down. Right. There we go. And I've completely lost track of what I was saying. Couldn't have been that important. That's what Grandad used to say. What my mum says now. If you can't remember what you said, it couldn't have been that important. Oops. Right. Come on. Bum, 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 bum. Right. There we go. That's better. Getting some of the whiteness away. Which is not easy. There we go. Getting there. Getting there. Right. There we go. How's it looking? Mona says, I love art journaling too. Yeah, I really enjoy art journaling, actually. I still do art journal when I'm in the mood for it. Madonna's asking, what is art journaling? I'll have to look it up. Well, art journaling is basically when you have a book that you use to create art in. That's the basics of it. You can do quotes, you can do scrapbooking style art, you can do all sorts of things. Now here's an art journal. Let's just open it to a random page. Oh, so that's art journaling. There's a little bit of stenciling here, and there's a little bit of painting. There's some washi tape here, some stenciling here, and some stamping. And here is another one. So there's a little bit that's been taped in. And here again, another bit being taped in. This tree's made of washi tape. There's stickers, there's collage, there's all sorts of things. So hopefully hopefully that answers your question, Madonna. Right, let's get back to this. Okay. I've just read Thorny's message that we have flash flooding, a couple of roads closed already, and rain till next Monday. Oh, well, I hope that you manage to stay safe. See, I always find that, you know, I moan about the weather on occasion, but actually the weather in Scotland, it's not that bad. It really isn't. I'm just reestablishing that shadow because it's not. It's a bit. It's dulled down. There we go. That's better. Well, a little bit better anyway. Okay. Right. What can I do next that I can get this finished? Probably the eyes. There's a lot more that I could be doing to the face to finish it off, but I'm not going to. I'm going to do the eyes because I think we've probably been going for quite some time now. Yeah, that's almost 2 hours now. So I'm sure you guys are probably all filtering off and going and doing stuff. So I will try not to keep you too much longer. Mona's saying that she's got a sketchbook in the table next to bed in case I get a good idea. And that is a good idea. I have a few different sort of travelers notebook type notebooks kicking about all over the place. That's what I like to use. Okay, so he actually has brown eyes, so I'm going to put in the eyes. And again, this is fiddly, but not impossible. So I'm just going to turn it around. Just adding a little bit of water onto my brush there because it was not giving up the paint that was on it. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so that's the eye sort of in. Well, at least the irises anyway. I'm going to, again, with the whites of the eyes, they are not white. So I'm going to grey it out a little bit. Oops. That's okay, I'll get that. I'll get that again sometime. I'll go back over it with the brown. Just so long as I've got the colour in. That's all that really matters. Right. Right, there we go. So get that put back in. Oops. See, that's the problem with trying to do this with a slightly bigger brush. Okay. I'm going to do a darker, make it more of a brown. And I'm going to very carefully do the edging of the eye here. Like that. And then the other. There we go. There we go. So that's that. I'm going to darken it slightly because it would be darker. There we go. There. It's getting there. Just need to get rid of this really light bit and these really weird light bits here as well. Okay, I've heard mention of 2 AM ideas. Yes. It's not the first time that I've had an idea and then tried to think of it again and couldn't. So it is definitely, pardon me, the best thing to write your ideas as soon as you've got them. Definitely. Right. Oh, see, I'm shaking again. What's that all about? Right. I think we're getting there. We're getting there. Definitely getting there. Right, shall we pop the eyebrows in? No. His eyebrows are definitely quite thick. And directly underneath his eyebrows, just in this bit here, is actually really very dark. So it's kind of difficult to see where his eyebrows start. They're a little bit too thick, but it's fine. I will change them by putting a lighter colour on again. But this is just need to get these on and done. Of course, you do realise that I'm going to mess about with this once I'm actually off air. Because now, any suggestions as what I should do with painting when it's done? Getting there. Right. Right. Okay. Okay, so we've got quite a bit of a shadow here. But then we've got slightly different tone here. Okay. Okay. Right. I'm just lighting this bit up again because the shadowing wasn't quite right. Oops. I'm wanting that still to be dark there because it's needing to be dark. Right. That's better. Right. Okay, so whoops. I'm going to check in with everybody. How's everybody doing? Yes, Mona. Portraits are not easy. As I said, you know, a portrait of this kind, it would take me like many more hours than, I mean, we've gone 2 hours now, which is a very long time. But if I'm honest, it would take many more to do the detail that is even within this portrait here. This is the Art Sherpa one, and it is available for print. These are the test sizes. These are only the small ones, but it's available A4, so it would be available the same size as this, but obviously 1, not 4 on them, for in the my Etsy store. And for every print that is sold, there is also a video of me painting this. I will probably put a link either in the description, or I might even put it in the comments, so that people can actually go and check it out. So Frisky should be afraid to have someone to do my portrait. I don't think I want anybody to pay attention to my face. Oh dear, Frisky. That's probably how we all feel, actually, if I'm totally honest. I don't think any one of us really likes our face being scrutinised that much. But do you know, it's actually not that bad. It really isn't that bad, having someone doing your portrait. I've had my portrait done by a street artist in Barcelona many years ago, and they did it in pastel, and I mean, they did it within, like, you know, sort of 15, 20 minutes, but it was actually pretty cool. It was really pretty cool. So I'm going to ask you guys a question. Now, we've been at this for 2 hours. I can go on further if you want me to, but if you think 2 hours is more than enough time to be listening to me ramble, I am more than happy to leave as is and just finish off camera. But if you guys want to stay longer, I am more than happy to keep going. So you tell me, what would you like to do? So Thorny, amazing what eyes and brows make it pop. Absolutely, absolutely. It needs refined a little bit because obviously I've done a little whoopsie here, but that's okay. It can get covered up. Mona's saying that wet palette must be awesome, keeping the paint moist. Yes, absolutely. I mean, you can see it doesn't even seem to be. Oops, sorry, making me dizzy. There doesn't seem to be any skinning at the moment. So yes, and you can see just how damp it still is. Look, you can see where the hole is that I was telling you about earlier on. So yes. I think it's pretty cool that you've managed to get to see me mix the painting as well, because I think mixing the paints as well as putting it on the paper is actually what makes the paintings. I mean, you can see the difference in the skin tones with this person, it's the same person, but with this painting, should I say, to this painting. And the reason for that is because it was slightly different colours that I was using. It was the primary colours of red, blue and yellow that I used with white, and I did that with the gouache. Here's my gouache palette. There we go. So that's my watercolor side, and this is my gouache side. So it's the colours, the yellow, red and blue. I used a little bit of the black in his hair, but I tended to kind of mix these colours to make it as dark as possible, and then maybe just a little bit of the black to darken it up, and the white. And I certainly go through a lot of white, so you can see the difference in the colours, in the shade. Well, not so much the shade, the shades, but the types of colours, the types of reds and skin tones to what I'm using on this palette. So Thorny says, I got nowhere else to go. I'm enjoying watching. Oh, thank you, Thorny. I really appreciate that. Okay. If I don't injure myself in the process, I've just hit my knee off the desk. That wasn't very clever. It was not very clever. So just to recap, for anybody who doesn't know, I've been using the Art Sherpa number 4 cat's tongue, and I've pretty much, in fact, I have used this for the whole painting so far. And I've got a rag to take off any excess water. Okay, so right, what do I want to do next? I think I want to fix this next. So I'm using the white basically because that'll hopefully cover up the darker colour quicker. And then once I let it dry, I should be able to go back in and go over it with the colour that it needs to be. Right. Okay. So I'm just going to. Yeah, no, I am. I'm going to even off the edge here, because it's still looking rather red and orange, and his face isn't orange. Oops. Right. Oh, did I just? Oh, I just hit the camera with my glasses, believe it or not. Ah, Mona, yes, of course. Right, I tell you what I'll do is I'll just do the tie and just tidy this up a little bit, and then we'll call it a night. How's that? Oh, you should try more often, Mona. I've been really enjoying using it, to be honest. It's for me, it's kind of like practice for the oil, because with them being water soluble, and they don't set permanently when they dry, it means that being able to blend them again on the paper is actually really fun. Right. Okay. Put his tie in. So it helps me practice not to get mud when I'm using my oils, basically. So that's kind of cool. Right. One last. We'll get this put in. Okay, it's not particularly neat, but I will tidy it up off camera. There we go. That's us. Right. Right, I'm going to stop messing about with this. And I'm going to call it a day at that point. I will finish it. It is not finished by any stretch of the imagination. Oh, hopefully you won't get too dizzy now as I put the camera back. Oh, Right, so you're going to now be blind because this is on. Hang on. Okay. Right. I just think it's more personal to finish off facing you guys. I just want to say, oops. Right. There we go. That's better. Just want to say thank you very much, everybody, from the bottom of my heart. I really very much appreciate that you've come to hang out with me for as long as you have. I mean, that's 2 hours and 20 minutes. Mona, it's 11 o'clock for you. In fact, it'll be after 11 o'clock now, won't it? It's 20 past 10 here, so it must be 20 past 11 for you. And I'm just absolutely thrilled to bits that I have just smashed my goal, and I will be doing a video of, or at least taking photographs anyway. It really depends, because the local supermarkets might not be happy with me filming in their shop, but I will see what I can do. I will definitely organise to go out with my Jedi costume on, because I said I would. It should be fun, and I will hopefully get that posted up soon. Thank you so much. Thank you, Thorny, for hanging out as long as you have. And for everybody who is watching on the replay, if you have got this far, thank you so much for watching. And I hope you have learned a few tips and tricks along the way. And I hope that you realise that even someone such as myself, who's quite competent in doing portraits, can still flap. Okay, we're normal, we're human, and the difference is that I'm not actually being observed when I am painting, not live. Yes, I'm filming it, but I'm not actually directly being observed, because I am just painting. I'm taking my time, I'm doing what I want to do, and I then speed it up. It's as simple as that. I don't feel like I'm being watched quite the same as when I'm going live. And who knows, maybe the more I do that, the less that will happen. Mona is saying that she's gone live twice. And it is scary. Yes, because it could go horribly wrong, but it didn't. It didn't. And I think one of the reasons why it didn't tonight is because you guys have been so awesome and supportive, and thank you. So take care, everybody, and don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. Don't forget to hit that bell for notifications, and you can come say hello to me on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram at Tartan Taz. The other thing that I'm excited about at the moment is obviously being part of the Art Sherpa design team. So don't forget to check out my videos on the ATCs and the unboxing. And with that, you will see all the links to all the other awesome artists that are on the team. So we have the two Stephanies, we have Mark, we have Ian, and the Sherpa. And have I missed anybody? Fancy Nancy. We also have Fancy Nancy as well. There's 7 of us in total. Go check us out and have some fun, and take care and look after your mental well-being, because it's important to us. All right. Bye for now. And thank you, special thank you to, sorry, I almost forgot, special thank you to Mona for stepping in at last minute and moderating the chat for me. Thank you. I'll say bye again this time, for real. Bye.